Fire and brimstone under a scorching summer sun at the state capitol today. The rights of religions, non-religions, and anti-religions are debated as a self-described satanic group brings a replica of a statue they want to see placed on the same ground as the state's Ten Commandments monument. And TST 11's Rolly Hoyt waded into this colorful crowd and joins us with a report.
Craig, the statue of Baphomet arrived here a little after 1 o'clock. It was on a flatbed truck and it was here just temporarily. In fact, we've had several people come by to the Ten Commandments Memorial here on the grounds wondering where the Satanist statue is. Well, it was here and gone as soon as that First Amendment rally closed up around 3. Meanwhile, the driving force, the state senator who's put these Ten Commandment statues in place, remains convinced that the law is on his side.
To which I say, hail Satan.
Nothing more than an agent of Satan.
Birds of a feather flock together.
It's the all or nothing secular approach.
The rhetoric matched the temperature on the steps of the state capitol. A group called the Satanic Temple out of Massachusetts wants this statue of Baphomet put on display on state capitol grounds. They say that since the Ten Commandments are in place, the law should allow them to erect this, and they have a First Amendment right to say so.
We find ourselves here because our elected officials, who may have been voted in by 50.1% of their district, they've failed and forgotten to recognize that upon taking that office, they then represent 100% of that district.
State Senator Jason Rapert spent the rally in meetings at the Capitol. He's sure the Ten Commandments tablets are legal, constitutional, and not going anywhere.
If the Ten Commandments display is good enough for all of those other state capitals and the United States Supreme Court, sir, it's good enough for the people of Arkansas, and we will defend the law.
But Lucian Greaves of the Satanic Temple says the law is on his side.
What the senator fails to mention is that on the same day as that decision was handed down, the Supreme Court ruled against 2 standalone Ten Commandments monuments.
While the arguments appear headed for more litigation, even Christians finding common cause with the Satanists see little room for compromise.
It's a very hard-line thing. Senator Rapert, unfortunately, isn't open to a dialogue about this issue. It's the Ten Commandments monument and none others.
It will be a very cold day in hell before we are ever forced to put up a permanent monument on the state capitol grounds that's as offensive as this group that hides behind fake names as they travel the country.
Now, not here today, anyone who's involved with the federal lawsuit to try and get the Ten Commandments monuments taken down. Rita Sklar with the ACLU told me she thought today's rally just proved how she thinks divisive these Ten Commandment statues are. We're live in Little Rock. Rolly Hoyt, TST 11 News.
Welcome, everyone, to our lovely little city here in Little Rock. Thank you, everyone who's local, for showing up. Thank you so much to everyone who's traveled to our pretty little state. Woo! We are very happy to have you. As you may know, we have our lovely Baphomet here from the Satanic Temple in Salem. We'd love to thank those guys for bringing it down, of course. So I figured I would just start to say that we are gathered here today to challenge an idea in America that we're a melting pot, because we're not. Instead, we are a tapestry, and we're a beautiful tapestry made of different religions, beliefs, and ideologies. And we will not be broken down and homogenized into one picture, because that's just not true. We are here because we believe it's very important to embrace the diversity that we have here in America. We think that we should celebrate it rather than allow one of the threads of our tapestry to eclipse the others. Most importantly, we're here because we think it is absolutely essential to make sure that everyone has a seat at the table in America. Because of this deeply held belief in diversity and the First Amendment, we are here to celebrate and advocate for religious pluralism and freedom all around Arkansas and all around the world.
Yes, ma'am.
So, it is with much great ado that I introduce Leewood from Arkansas. Leewood was a founding member of the Arkansas Society of Freethinkers, and he served as its first vice president in the mid-1990s. Leewood served as media liaison for the ASF for many years. More recently, he founded the Satanic Atheist and Skeptic Society, which has applied for its own wall of separation monument for the Capitol grounds not long after their 10 Commandments had been passed. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Go
I thank the Satanic Temple organization for inviting me to speak today. Glad the weather cooperated. But it's a shame in this day and age that we find ourselves so often here at our Capitol rallying over these issues like church and state separation, women's reproductive rights, civil rights. It's quite a shame whenever you do this.
We find ourselves here because our elected officials, who may have been voted in by 50.1% of their district, they've failed and forgotten to recognize that upon taking that office, they then represent 100% of that district.
That's right.
Citizens of the U.S., they may have the right to practice whichever religion they choose, and in my case, no religion at all. Our government's secular approach means that the government shouldn't promote or inhibit any one or more religions over others. It's an all or nothing scenario in order to remain constitutional. And we have examples of that right here in Arkansas. The judicial branch knows this. Over on the Capitol's South Lawn each December, temporary displays are set up by private organizations for celebrating various ideas. And at first, for many years, there was just the nativity scene, which will likely be seen again this December. 10 years or so ago, the Arkansas Society of Freethinkers applied to have their own display on the lawn. Then Secretary of State Charlie Daniels denied the application, and it went to the state's highest court, where eventually the judge ruled in 2009 that to remain constitutional, the state must allow all other viewpoints in after having allowed in nothing secular approach that I just made. Now, on the flip side, in my home county of Saline, we've seen a similar yet different outcome. A nativity scene was placed on the county courthouse there in December, and I asked to apply for space for the Saline Atheist and Skeptic Society, and the response was again in line with the all or nothing secular approach. We were told that the new judge recognized that if he allowed in one religious viewpoint, he would then have to allow all of them in to remain constitutional. He did not want that. So now there's currently a policy called the No Third Party Displays policy in effect, which does mean that the Saline Atheist and Skeptic Society cannot put it on display, but then the organization that provided the nativity scene can no longer put it on the grounds either.
Yes!
It's the all or nothing secular approach. So Arkansans within our judicial system, they know how this works. Many of you, if not all of you, know how this works. It seems the only ones who don't understand this concept are some of our elected officials. And you know how to fix that, right? You post them out. We're going to take a minute.
Yes!
The monument that my SAS group applied to install, it's simply called the Wall of Separation. It's a monument, and it'll be a physical wall over on the South Lawn. And and in December, that will truly be a wall of separation between the temporary displays that go up that up here and the Capitol building, and it will be situated in between. The wall will be 15 feet wide, 8 feet tall, and about 2 feet thick. The wall's 15-foot run will be east to west, and on the north side, this side, and on the south side, there will be plaques with quotes from some of our founding fathers supporting the idea of separating the church and the state. In addition to the simple quotes, one plaque will also have the letter to the Danbury Baptist that Jefferson wrote, where he coined the phrase wall of separation. And then setting off the wall will be a grand patio. It'll be ADA compliant with curb cuts and all. And that's so Arkansans and visitors alike can come and view all of the plaques. Now that Senator Stanley J. Raper has paved the way for all viewpoints, it wouldn't surprise me if others with different worldviews also want equal access to the lawn space here. Perhaps our Muslim neighbors might want to opt in to participate, or maybe the pagan community, even the Pastafarians with their flying spaghetti monster may want in on some of this exposure here at the Capitol. I mean, that's the point of placing a monument on the Capitol lawns in the first place, right? Exposure and supposed support from the state government. Now, what's worse about this situation here is with Senator Stanley J. Raper and his Ten Commandments law is the wording he used in the law to begin with. I'm not sure if any of you have read Act 1231. It's only 3 pages long, but the finishing lines of the law read this. In the event in the legality or the constitutionality of the monument comes into question, or rather, whether if it comes to this section, it is challenged in the court of law, the Attorney General may prepare and present a legal defense for the monument or request that Liberty Legal Institute prepare and present a legal defense for the monument. A request that Liberty Legal Institute prepare and present a legal defense for the monument shall not be subject to Statute 25167702. The placement of the monument under this section shall not be construed to mean that the state of Arkansas favors any one particular religious denomination over others. As if you can put language in a bill and then construe how people perceive things.
Right.
Now that statute that Liberty Law is now exempt from, do you know what the statute states? In part, it reads that the compensation for these special counsels shall be fixed by the court where the litigation is pending with the written approval of the governor and attorney general. So not only has Senator Stanley J. assigned who gets to be appointed, but it also looks as if he's lifted the cap of the compensation that they'll be entitled to for doing the work. Now, why would someone include such language like this in a bill if they didn't think they were introducing something that was unconstitutional? You know, there's a solution for this, folks, and it takes all of us here and more. We need you to register. Check the VoterView website. Make sure all of your current information is what they have. Don't give them anything to eject you off of the rolls. And then when the polls open, go and vote. And you need to make sure everyone you know is also registered and they go and vote. Because it's obvious that this 50% participation in voting, it's not working out real well now, is it?
Right.
You know what to do. Thank you for your time today.